Data is what is driving everything in the markets today. And I have been a trader who's always believed that we have to exploit the power in data. And if you keep ignoring data, if you keep ignoring information, and if you're relying on old outdated information, then you're putting yourself up for a life of struggle in the markets. The markets tend to keep changing all the times. The cricket which was played by the likes of Kapil Dev and Ravi Shastri and Sunil Gavaskar back in the 80s is very, very different from the cricket which is played today. The game has changed. Now, why am I saying that? Because a lot of traders when they come to the markets, they are focused on a lot of trading strategies which were once very useful, but back in about 90s and 2000s and 2010. The last decade, the kind of change which has happened in the market has been astronomical, big, huge impact. It has propelled NSE to be the #1 derivatives exchange in the world in terms of contracts traded. And it's not just retail traders, it's a lot of institutions from overseas who have come in and who are trading in these markets today, right? So you can ignore all that is happening around you, or you can make life better for yourself. And the way you can make life better for yourself is to arm yourself with information, and not just arm yourself with information, learn how to strategize with that information, learn how to monetize with that information. I also keep saying this, that the market is not made for one tool, right? However good your tool is. So in my case, I work a lot with my 10-bar cot, but the market was not made for my 10-bar cot to decode everything of it. So I have to surround myself with an IB and an IS signal. I have to surround myself with a market and a limit order. And I have to surround myself with a cot at the end of the 3 minutes and the cot at the end of the 30 minutes, because the market speaks in different ways. And I have to find it good and find it within me to collect all that information which is flowing from the market, right? So don't just let one tool be the the speaker for everything which is going on, which is happening in the market. The market is different every single day and will speak to you differently every single day.
Now, just a few words about order flow. And if you've been around and we've been watching the charts which we have, obviously what we do over here is very different from what is available outside. And we've grown far beyond what other people call order flow. When I was first exposed to this word called order flow about 14 years back, for me the picture which was presented was that there are certain numbers kept on a chart, and those certain numbers mean order flow. That is what was presented to me. This is about 14 or 15 years back. But today order flow is gone much beyond seeing numbers on a screen, and in a sense, a lot of people, when they use that word order flow, they are so zeroed in on what is happening in a particular bar. So they are focused on that 5-minute bar or that 3-minute bar or whatever bar they are looking at, that 30-minute bar, and they're just focused on that information which is there in the bar, neglecting the reason that bar is being created or what was in the immediate past to make that bar appear in the Now, just a few words about order flow. And if you've been
Good evening, everyone. A quick sound check. Good evening, all. Welcome to this Monday 5 p.m. session, and we are back with what we'll do first is a review of what we did last week, and then what we have done today, and then we'll move on to the futures also, and we'll discuss how we can create and save bookmarks. We have two entities in the bookmark. One is a market profile bookmark and the other one is a global bookmark. We have had many queries on X asking about the same, so we'll clarify that and we'll show how to save bookmarks and how it can save a lot of time, because you don't need to again fix up your charts every day. You can just save the bookmark and you can just open that particular bookmark the time the market opens. So anyways, coming back to the weekly report, which is on screen right now. Last week we opened with a big gap up because of the ceasefire news and the war getting over, which was welcomed by the market, and we made a drive higher. We formed a trend day up. This is the Nifty Spot daily chart of last week. We formed a trend day up on Monday, where we hit an important supply zone of 24944. 24978 I think was a swing high from October. So after the trend day up on Monday, in market profile, we always see that imbalance is followed by a balance and vice versa. So whenever we have had a imbalance in form of a trend day, the expectation of a follow up to that profile is less. So that is what we did on Tuesday. We made a lookup above the highs of the trend day, but got rejected, and we formed a B-shaped profile. So you can see we were overlapping in value and range, and we coiled further on Wednesday, where we remained in the value of Monday, and the attempt we made to get out of the value was met with rejection. First, on the upside, you can see we made a typical seaside extension, which resulted in a failed auction being confirmed. But when we broke below the IBL, the initial balance low, and made an attempt to move away from Tuesday's value, what we saw was rejection. Why was this a rejection? Because we got a zone of singles, we got a tail, responsive buying tail. So what we did on Wednesday was form a neutral center profile. So neutral center profile is a very good indication which tells us that the buyers and sellers are in equilibrium. And from that profile, we could get a move away. So a neutral center profile most of the time can give way to a trend day, which is what happened on Thursday, the settlement day. The field auction was our reference. The field auction in spot was at 25067, I think. And that was our reference. Sorry, 24767 was a failed auction, and that was our reference for the settlement day. Below that, we would have looked for more downside. But what we did was, in the look down below the previous day's low, we again left a buying tail in the B period. So we give lot of importance to tails which come in the initial balance, that is the A and B. Although A has the more priority, priority wise A has the more significance, the tails. But even in B, if you're leaving a tail and then you take out the A singles, you know that the buyers have overwhelmed the sellers. So on the settlement day, we went on to get above these highs of Tuesday, and we tagged an important weekly VPOC of 25065. Last Monday, when we were having this 5 p.m. session, we had discussed how that 25065 was one objective, because if we are moving away from the POC of a previous weekly profile, the objective would be the higher VPOCs which have not been tagged. So accordingly, this got tagged, and this was a trend day up. So just like how we did not get a follow up after the trend day on Monday, same thing happened on Friday. We opened inside this range and we formed a very narrow Gaussian curve. We made couple of range extensions lower, but we did not extend much. So we closed at a prominent POC of 25012, and what we had last week was two trend days up, and in between we had one balance, and it closed off of a Gaussian curve, a narrow range balance. So you can see Monday was a trend day and Thursday was a trend day. In between, this neutral center was a very good cue that we could get a move from balance to imbalance. So this is what we look at in market profile structure, what the structure is telling us. So once we got this normal day, we were expecting a move away from this HVN of 25012. So what was the weekly profile like? The weekly profile was a normal variation, one to the upside. And what we did was, because of the trend day on Monday and the next 2 days forming a balance. In fact, even the first half of Thursday was continuing the balance. So we have had a nice balanced value area zone on the weekly profile, from where we have made a move away, and we have formed another HVN at 25012. So what we are looking at, we have one buying tail. The initiative buying tail is from 24494 to 24378. And to recollect, 24378 is right where our rollover point for the May series was. So when the weekly VPOC of last week, which was at 24389, is coinciding with the rollover point, and you're getting an open drive up, it was an open low start on Monday, you know that you have to look for more upside. And once we hit this weekly VPOC, that was where we hit one important objective, and it was time for auction to get back into balance mode. So what is the view? What was the view for this week? We needed a initiative move away from this 25012 for a probe towards this 25640 and 25810, which is the weekly references from the 30th September to 4th October profile. So that if for but for, we will have to stay above this. But if we stay below this, we can fill up the zone till this 24717, which is a prominent POC of last week. So this is what was the view for Nifty spot, and these were the hypos which we had given for today. You can see how we broke below this 24944, and on the downside we are looking for this extension handle of 24888. So on the upside, we were not able to get above this 25064 today. It was the LTPO high, and to recall, it was also the weekly VPOC which we had tagged last Thursday. So this remains an important reference on the upside. We will have to take this out either with a buying tail or an extension handle for a probe higher in the coming sessions. So quickly moving on to the Bank Nifty spot, and then we'll have a look at what we have done in spot today in both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty also opened with a gap up, but Bank Nifty was not as bullish as Nifty. The reason being, Bank Nifty made a narrow range P-shaped profile, and it tagged this weekly VPOC of 55466 on Monday, but it was not able to sustain above this. Almost for 3-4 consecutive days, it was trying to scale above this, but what it left was, this was a spike which got ejected. We got a selling tail on Tuesday, and then again in that trend day higher on settlement day, we were just tagged that 466, but we were not able to close above it. So this was proving to be a important supply point, just like how we saw 25065 in Nifty spot. This 55466 held in the Bank Nifty spot. So what we have done, we the range wise we were forming overlapping range, and weekly profile is given as a nice neutral profile, because we made an attempt to extend both sides but got rejected. We hardly made any meaningful range extension on the weekly, and we went on to form a nice balance with a prominent POC at 55297. So 55279, sorry. So this 55279 was our reference for today, and above this we would have been bullish. So this is the hypos what we had left for Bank Nifty, and you can see how this 55715 is one important reference in Bank Nifty. 29th of April ATPO, we had a selling tail on that day, and this had to be taken out. If this would have been taken out today, we would have got another 200 250 points move on the upside. But what happened today, let us have a look. Let's start with the Nifty spot. So Bank Nifty, the view was, because it was a normal profile, we were looking at this POC as a reference. Above the POC, we would be bullish to test this selling tail. We have two selling tails on the weekly time frame. And on the downside, if we remain below this, we could just fill up this zone again. So let's see what we have done in Nifty spot today, and then we'll move on to the Bank Nifty spot. So I'm opening up the Nifty spot weekly chart, and we'll see what we have done today compared to previous week's profile, and then we'll also shift on to the daily profile also. So we what we did was we opened around this HVN of 25012, but we were not able to do much. We did leave a small buying tail in the initial balance, but we made the typical seaside extension, and the seaside extension did not come as a surprise because it stalled right below the 25064 reference that was also given as today's hypo. And when we were not able to scale above that, it was clear that demand is missing in this zone. And what it led to was the sellers taking over, and they went on to give a one time frame probe lower for the rest of the day, breaking below the IBL. So what we have done today is form a neutral extreme profile to the downside with the failed auction at the top, and we have closed below the initial balance low. So it is the failed auction is in play, and we are looking for a 180R target to the downside, which comes to 24759. So that is again uh, telling us that we may get back into filling this zone which we had discussed in the report. So let's just have a look at the daily chart so that we can have more clarity about what we did today. You can see how the open below the previous value got rejected. We did the 80% rule. We went on to test this selling tail from Friday, but we stalled right at this 25064. So we left a failed auction there as we broke below this IBL, and this 24963 I think is the extension handle, the IBH of IBL of today, the initial balance low 24965. So that will be a reference going forward for tomorrow. As long as we are below this 24965, we are looking for a test of these lower levels. 24888 is our extension handle from the trend day on Thursday, and then we have this 24805, which was again an extension handle plus a halfback of this profile. So as we was mentioning, 24759 is that 180R objective from today's FA. So that will be our lower target if we continue to probe lower, and then finally this weekly VPOC of 24717. So this is what is expected on the downside if we are below this IBL of today. On the upside, we have a 2-day overlapping value POC at 25012. So for more upside, we will have to first take this out in the coming session, and then this failed auction has to be taken out with a buy side reference. So on Nifty spot, this is how we are placed for this week's settlement. This failed auction will be our most important reference, and this 24807 would be the lower reference. So let's see how this goes. The failed auction has certainly given us a sign that we may look for some more retracement to the downside in the coming session at least. So moving to the Bank Nifty profile, Bank Nifty spot, what we did today, uh, un- unlike last week on Monday, where Nifty was more bullish than Bank Nifty, today it was the opposite. Today you saw role reversals, and Bank Nifty was the one which was more bullish than Nifty. But then it could not sustain the bullishness on its own, and because Nifty was not able to join in, ultimately Bank Nifty also gave up all the gains it made. So you can see how the open was right above this POC, the weekly POC, and we have been mentioning that time and again. When we are looking at the weekly spot charts, we have the weekly POC as our reference. Above it we are bullish, below it we are bearish. So when we opened and stayed above this POC, we were looking for upside objectives, and you can see how we stalled just right at this selling tail from 28th April to 2nd May weekly profile. So we made upside range extensions on multiple TPOs, but we stalled right there. So 55692 was also the monthly IBH, and 55715, as I mentioned, was the ATPO's halfback of 29th of April. So when we are stalling in an important supply zone, you know that the sellers are now taking control over by the buyers. So that's what happened, and we went on to almost tag the opening low into the L period. So although we have made a normal variation profile to the upside, the fact that we have got rejected from a supply point tells us that uh, the bank nifty is not as bullish as it was at the in the first half of the day. So this POC will again be a reference. Below this we would become bearish, and this is a nice balanced value area, so we can look for a 80% rule to get completed in this previous week's value. If we look at the daily chart of bank nifty spot, you can see how we have stalled right at this selling tail of this 4-day composite, and today we were making a one time frame probe higher, but the H period stopped that. So after we made this high just below this 55715, it was telling us that the seller is now coming back, and once we broke this lows of F, it was a pullback low. It was always clear that we are looking to test the A period buying tail of morning. So because of the weakness in Nifty, Bank Nifty is also given up all the gains it had, and it has come back to close at this prominent POC of 55280. So below 55280 in the coming days, we would be looking for more downside. 55182 and this extension handle of 55017 would be the important references on the downside. So this is as far as the spot is concerned. Let us now, we will have these hypos and the levels for tomorrow updated in the report. So you don't need to worry about not marking them in this session. We'll have it updated with the hypos in the report. So it'll all be there for you to go back and be ready with it before the market opens tomorrow. So now coming to this profile chart of futures, and this is the default market profile chart we have. On VTrender charts, if we open up the basic link, you will get a default Nifty continuous profile chart. So what we need to do is we can always save this, the continuous futures also, or if we are new in a series, we can go with the series wise symbol. So we have been asked many times what is the difference between Nifty and Nifty date wise. So Nifty is continuous futures. So till the last Thursday of the month, it will have the current series, and once the expiry is done, it will move on to the new series. But this date wise would be as per the uh, May series. So if you select this date of 29th May, you will get the profile based on the auction of 29th of May. So what we can do here is we can select the profile. I'm just going through a quick way of how you can save bookmarks, both market profile bookmarks as well as global bookmarks. And when we do this, we don't need to keep repeating the exercise on a daily basis because we keep marking references. We know we have KRLs which are marked. I will just delete this KRL which is there so that I can show how we can create them again. And I'll also show you how you want, how and when we need to add the KRLs. So this is your Nifty futures profile chart of the May series. So what do we do when we get a new swing low, which is what we got on 9th of May? We add a KRL, create custom KRL. We have this anchored VWAP and we mark it as swing low, and because this is from the buy side, we will have it marked in green. So this is how you select the day, add the KRL, anchored VWAP, and select save. So immediately you can see how this KRL is got saved here, the swing low from 9th of May. And you can see how day by day the anchored VWAP gives you a new reference. So for now, the anchored VWAP is at 24714. So this is how you can add the KRLs. And now because this has been confirmed as a swing high 15th of May. So we can add an anchored VWAP from that reference. And because this is on the upside, we can give it a color of red. So now you know this is the anchored VWAP from the swing high of 15th of May, which is at 24947. And the buy side anchored VWAP is at this. So this is the Nifty profile chart. And as we were discussing, we had formed a balance. So if we want to form a composite, because once in market profile we trade value, we don't trade price. So we have this 7-day overlapping value which we are merging. And once you merge this, you get a nice Gaussian curve, and you know we have moved away from this Gaussian curve on 12th of May, which was last settlement. So from here, what we have done, sorry, 12th of May was last Monday, not the last gap of which we got after the ceasefire. So how do you save this? You once you have saved all these KRLs, if you do not save this bookmark, all your work will uh, go away, and next time you will have to do this exercise again. So what you can do is you have this option, top right, you have this option of save as. If you click on this, you will get a tab asking save bookmark. You will get categories. So you select a category. If you want to make a new category, you can do that. What I'll do is I'll make a new category calling as chest, because I already have a category named Nifty May 2025 where I save my May series bookmarks. So here I can do NF and daily. So what you need to do is copy existing custom KRLs, yes, and click on save. And this bookmark is saved successfully. And where is it saved? You can go to this menu and you have market profile bookmarks. What we are doing now is saving a market profile bookmark. So I'll open this in a new tab, and you can see how the bookmark we have saved right now would be there at the bottommost level. The latest bookmark comes at the bottommost. So what you need to do once you save this, every day you just need to go to your bookmarks folder and open this. And you can also share your bookmarks with others. You have the URL, copy URL option, or you can also directly take the URL from the address bar. So this is how you save bookmarks. These are the market profile bookmarks. You can do the same thing with the weekly series also. You just need to go to the Nifty 29th May, and you have an option of weekly series. So when we are trading futures, we look at the weekly series because we want to take it settlement by settlement, because that is how the option inventory is building in the cycle. So once you click on this weekly series, you will automatically get 5-day profiles. So this 16th, which was last Friday, is the start of a new series in futures, because the weekly settlement got over on 15th. So it will automatically combine the next 5 days together when you are looking at the weekly series. And you can also save this bookmark. Again, I'll do this in test itself. Save as. Okay, I'm not getting the test option because I'm doing it in a window which was open before. So I'll just need to refresh it. And then I will have that category which I had saved. So I'll just refresh the browser and again do that exercise of creating a we select the series, we select the weekly series, and then we click on save as. Okay, we are not getting the test. Fine. So I'll just okay. I think what we have done is okay. The category is saved as NF daily. I did the opposite. I'll just delete this. What I did Previously was the category got saved as nf underscore d, whereas it had to be the profile. So I'll just quickly save this weekly profile, new category. This will be test, and the title would be NF weekly. So copy existing KRLs. Yes. So if you don't wish to copy this KRL, daily KRLs on the weekly, you can unselect that option. So I have saved the weekly profile, and now I'm going to quickly save the daily profile of Nifty May series. So the KRLs are already there. So I'm just going to save this. And here we are getting that folder which we had created. And this is NF daily. Copy existing. Yes. I click on save. And now if I see on my bookmarks and go to the bottom, you can see how we have the Nifty daily chart. We have the weekly. Similarly, we can also create the monthly series chart. You have the monthly series option at the bottom. You can even create that. So what do we do further? Once we have these profile charts, we know how to save the profile charts bookmarks. They get saved in this market profile bookmarks. So but we also have the dual window mode. So how do we use that, and how do we make optimal use of that? So what we can do is we can have market profile to the left, the daily market profile chart, and on the right side we can go with the order flow. So because we have the Nifty futures, we can have the Nifty futures order flow, and you can select the time frame. Let's go with 30 minutes because that will match with the profile chart. And for now, I'll just take off this live box and take off this global volume also, so that we can see the order flow clearly. So this is now what you have in the dual window mode. How I got the dual window mode is clicking by this icon on the right hand side. You can also, if you have a bigger screen, you can also go in for 3 window, 4 windows, and also 6 window mode. So the maximum traders at VMR and those who are using the VTrender charts are using this dual window mode, because you get important references of both. And because we are using market profile to understand structure, order flow to see the volumes, and we make a combo of both, it is very important to know what is happening in each. So this is giving us the structure. We made a seaside extension, and here you can see the seaside in order flow is showing us 0 on the pie side. So it's a typical seaside which will give us a test of VWAP. And once we broke VWAP, we remained below this POC, and then we went on to break below the IBL. Once we broke that, it left an extension handle. We can see that clearly in the order flow chart where we have zeros. And then we went on to almost test, we went on to test this VWAP of 24960 from the ITPO on Thursday, and the lower reference would be this 10-day VWAP of 24899. So this is our typical market profile plus order flow combo. So even this layout you can save. How do you save this? You just need to go on the save. For the market profile, we have an option on the top to save as a global bookmark, dual window modes or multiple window modes. You need to go on the right hand side and click on this save as button. When you click on this, it will ask you the title. So what I'm going to do is NF daily MP and 30-minute OF. So you can give whatever name you want and you can save this. So when you are saving this dual window bookmarks, they get saved in your global bookmarks, and you can have multiple such bookmarks handy. So how do you go to the global bookmarks? Similar, same way, go to the menu. You have market profile bookmark. Below that, you have the global bookmarks. When you click on global bookmarks, you can see right at the bottom, we have the bookmark which I have saved now. So you just need to go to the global bookmarks and open that up, and that will give you the market profile chart on the left and the order flow to the right. So because we had selected the 30-minute, you're getting the 30-minute on your right. So this is how you can make use of this wonderful feature of saving the global bookmarks, and you can use this for any combinations. because you can have this. I am showing you an example of market profile plus order flow. You can have it also in options. You can have the 30-minute order flow of option with the 3-minute order flow of the option. So I'll just give you a quick example of what we saw today in the 55,000 call of Bank Nifty. So I'm again shifting to the dual window mode. So this is where we are breaking above the highs on the market profile 1017, and the same information, if we look at the order flow of that particular option, and I'll again switch to the 30-minute order flow. You can see how while we cleared this previous day high, we got an IB30. So this IB30 got activated above 1050, and the stop loss was 956. And the target of this IB30, the first target was 1144, which we went on to hit to the dot. So once you hit this 1144, you trail rest of your position, you book half and trail rest of your position to your entry, which got hit and the trade got over. So this is how you can make use of these bookmark, and you can even save this. Even this, I can save it saying as 55,000 C MP chart and OF chart. So this gets saved, and because this is the monthly option, you can continue to trade of these chart and these levels. So you, for now, this signal is over. This is given the first target and it has got negated. So but tomorrow again, if we see any up move in the Bank Nifty, you can again look at the calls giving signals. And one more thing what we can do is, once you get an IB30, you can shift to the lower time frame and you can trade the signals of that. So this is how you save these bookmark. You make use of this wonderful feature, and depending on the uh, instrument you are trading, you can look to have that particular global bookmark on. So also for option writers, we have another good way to know how for how long you can hold any straddle shorts. So we have the options table. In the option table, we have detailed inventory data about all the options. And because the gamma zero was at 25,000 today, from Friday, because it was the start of a balance, we were looking at the 25,000 25,000 straddle. So we can open the straddle chart by click of one button. The strike price in middle column of the option table will give you the market profile chart. So how, so for option sellers who are into strangles and straddles, this is a very good way. And you can also use the dual window mode. I'll come to that in a bit. So for opening any straddle chart, you just need to go to the option table and you have the strike price in the middle. You just need to select whichever straddle you want to open. And as you can see, I've selected the 25,000 straddle, and you can see how on Friday also we got this AP rate selling tail, and today again we got this AP rate selling tail. So how do we analyze this and check how the OI is adding and when it is coming down, and where the VWAP is on a intraday time frame? So same thing here, you shift this into dual window mode. You have the market profile chart on one side, And on the other side, what I'll do is I'll open up the line chart of the same straddle. So you have this nifty 25,000 straddle. In even in the menu, if you type that, you will get it. You can select that. So we've got the market profile on both sides. On the right hand side, what I'm doing is I'm shifting it to the line chart or the candle chart as the icon shows. So here, what it tells me, it gives me a clearer picture of what has happened on the smaller time frame. So you can see how we were below VWAP for most part of the day. Any pullback to VWAP was getting rejected in this straddle, and we went on to uh, make lower lows on most of the TPOs. And this bold white line is the POC. So shifting of POC is telling us that the shorts who had entered earlier are booking profits. So whenever the POC is shifting lower, you should be little careful about booking out of your shorts, or at least booking part and trailing rest to your cost. So, and this VWAP and POC will again be a reference if you have carried straddle shorts. So because just like how Friday's VWAP was our reference for holding shorts today, today's VWAP would be a reference to hold this short straddle tomorrow. So VPOC is in on the chart is this white bold line. So you just need to keep going back in the line chart, and you can see how the POC was here at 373. This is afternoon on Friday, and how into the close we shifted lower. And because this was a weekend, the shifting of POC was telling us that the short straddle guys were booking profits. And because we remain below this VWAP, they again re-entered today. This is the open interest, and you can even confirm that with the open interest, because you can see how the open interest was falling into the close, and today again from open it was going up. And if you see any straddle staying above of VWAP or POC, you can then see short covering coming in that straddle, because one leg will be hitting uh, the stop losses. So that will have to force out. You have the option in the panel controls. You click on the panel control, you can select what you want to do, and you can hide the volume bar, or you can have the open interest or the caught in option charts. So I'll just switch it to this single window mode, and then so it is there in the user settings. You can go to the user settings, and you have this panel control over here. I'm not sure why this is not opening. I'll just try it out with the individual option chart, and then try to. So we have this panel control which is there on screen. So you can see how we have panel 2, panel display and visibility, and the height panel 1. So you can change the settings in this. We have the volume as well as the open interest in options. You can change that. You want to remove volumes, you can remove that. You can add cot, you can add DOI. You have the DOI in the panel 2, and you have the volume in the lower display. So you can change this setting then, select apply, and it will get customized. So it is a user based setting. So for your user, if you save your setting once, that will be saved. You will not have to do it again, and you will have to change it once. You need to come back to the open interest or the cot symbol in the option chart. So we saw how to open a straddle chart and follow it on the line. We can also open up a strangle chart. For example, if you are looking at Nifty being in a range, 25,200 is the upper range. So we'll select the 25,200 call, and on the downside, we'll select the 24,800 put. So when we select this, we can select the options by clicking on the radio button, which is there. The right hand side is having the puts, the left hand side is having the calls. So I've selected the 25,200 call and the 24,800 put. So if I feel the auction is going to be in a range for this week's settlement, I will look to short this triangle. And how do I open the triangle? When if I select both the legs, I'll have this at the bottom of the screen, selected option pair. And I just need to click on that link, and that will open up the strangle chart for me. It will open up the market profile chart. By default, you can, however, change this to the line chart. So you can see how we have been below this. You have seen the open interest going higher. We have been below VWAP. The POC, which was at 242 at open, dropped lower to 232 and then to 216, where it was constant for most of the afternoon, while this remained below VWAP. And finally, into the close, the POC shifted to 192. So here we can see how we did get a small bounce into the close, and how there was red OI, which was telling us that the shorts were covering in this triangle. So this is how you can make use of the triangle charts also. Yes, you can select the range based on the spectrum. You can select the range based on your own analysis. It could be anything. The options are innumerable. It is up to individual as a trader about what he's trading and what he wants to look at in the option uh, universe. You can open that particular chart. You can also do this on the monthly. You have the monthly series here, and you can go for those also. In fact, we had shown a very important aspect of opening a 6 window mode and having 3 call and put option charts of the monthly time frame. So how do you do that? I'll just do a quick review of that before we wind up for today. So we have this 6 window mode on the right hand corner, and Nifty spot has closed at 24,945. So we'll have one in the money call. So let's say 24,800 is our call, and we'll select the monthly time frame. And we'll have the 25,100 put as our in the money put for the monthly. And then we move ahead. The second call would be slightly at the money, which is 24,900, and the third would be out of money call, 25,000. And we are selecting the monthly options for all of them. So you have 24,800 call, 24,900 call, and 25,000 call, and we will have this marked as the order flow. And in the order flow, we'll have it on the 30-minute time frame. So this 6 window mode is just for us to have a bigger view of what is happening on the monthly charts, and whether the bigger players are bullish or bearish. So 25,100 put. So the next would be 25,000 put, which is at the money. And then we have slightly out of money put, which is the 24,900. Again, these strikes could be decided by whatever your trading strategy is. I'm just giving you an example. Having the 30-minute order flow of all these calls and puts. And so I'm taking off the global volume tick so that we can clearly see the order flow as it is, because it's a narrow. So because we are using the 6 window mode and we are just using this to have a sense of what is happening on the monthly calls or put, you can in fact even take off this bottom table. How do we do that? We have this symbol T. So you click on that, the bottom table disappears and you have more space on your screen. So what you can see clearly is the calls, monthly calls had already started giving IS30 signals. This was at 145. This, in fact, the 24,900 call gave a IB31 on at 115 itself, and the 25,000 call also gave. So what we are seeing is the monthly calls are getting sellers, and if we compare that to the puts, you can see how on the put we have got one IB30, but that is not yet triggered. So we will have to wait in for that confirmation in the coming session. So what this 6 window mode is showing you is a action in the uh, at the money call, in the money call, and slightly out of money call, as well as put. So if all the calls are giving you IS signals, you know that the long upside is limited, and if it is vice versa, it is the opposite. So even the down move which we got recently, a couple of weeks back, we saw a lot of IS30 signals in the puts, and even the futures did not give us many sell side signals. The options was where the trade was happening, and we got those signals marked. So here you can see how IS signal in all the three calls will definitely keep you abreast about the upside being limited in Nifty futures. And if this IB30 gets triggered tomorrow, you can look to go long above this 290 with the stop loss at 245. And you can see if the calls continue to drop. Even this interface, you can save it as a global mark, and you can name it as monthly CP for Nifty. And the same exercise you can also do for the bank Nifty. You don't need to keep watching this all the time, but the importance of this is when you see similar signals on the 30-minute time frame, it keeps you ready to take trades in the other direction whenever you are getting signals in the smaller time frame. So this IB30 gets activated tomorrow, you can keep trading those signals which come on the 3-minute order flow and keep part booking and getting on with the trend. So these are the important features which we have and which we can make most use of. The dual window mode is a very powerful uh, concept. You can select what you want in the two windows. You can have market profile plus order flow. You can have the order flow plus options volumes. You can have the spectrum on one side. You can have the spot chart. Settlement days, it is a very important feature to have the spot market profile chart on one side and the spectrum chart on the right side, because the spectrum chart is also telling you which of the call or the put NTM open interest is increasing or decreasing. So those gives you a heads up when you can get a dukan trade. So in case any of you guys have not been able to follow whatever we have explained today, please feel free to send us a mail or you can DM me on Twitter. My ID is @Uttam Goel. I'll be happy to explain and take it forward about how you can create these bookmarks, both market profile bookmarks as well as global bookmarks, and make use of them. You have these bookmarks saved in your settings. So all you need to do before the market opens, go to the bookmarks folder and open those links. So you don't need to set these charts up every day. So it saves a lot of time and you are in sync with what is happening. So once the Nifty is moving to a different range, then you can just change the strike prices and accordingly continue to save the new bookmarks which you are forming. So that is it for today from my side, guys. I hope this is helping you guys and making you to use the VTender charts platform in a much better way. And as I mentioned, if there is any case of doubts or queries, you can please feel free to get in touch with us. Spectrum has been discussed. We have a video on YouTube also on that, but definitely we would consider this request and see when we can cover that again in the coming sessions. So thank you guys for joining in. Signing off for now and have a great evening, and let's look forward to a great week of trading ahead.